Hi, this is Dorothy from crazyforcrust.com, and today I'm going to show you how I like to dip my truffles. Now before we get started, I just want to let you know that it's taken me a really long time for me to dip my truffles so that I don't think they look ugly. And so it's really a lot about practice and trial and error and trying to find out what works best for you. Alright, so let's get started. First thing you need is something to dip. So you can use cookie dough or truffle mixture or whatever you like, whatever kinds of truffles that you're trying to dip. And when you are making your mixture, you want to make sure that it's not too wet and not too dry. It has to be dry enough or wet enough that it will hold together when you roll it, but it doesn't. If it's too wet, then the chocolate won't stick to it. So it's kind of, you have to try it a few times to find out what works for you. And it's good when it's chilled also. So I like to use my cookie scoops to scoop out 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoon size balls of dough for my truffles, and then I roll them between my hands to make a ball. I still think they kind of look like funny looking deformed brains, but it works. And then you put them on your cookie sheet lined with wax paper, and it's really good if you chill that then so that they're nice and cold when you're ready to dip. Alright, so let's talk about dipping and chocolate. There are a few different brands of chocolate that you can use. There's almond bark, which you can buy at Walmart year-round, and usually grocery stores sometimes will have it. A lot of times the grocery stores will only carry it at the holidays. This is a cheap product. They have it vanilla and chocolate, but its taste is okay. Wilton is probably the most recognizable brand. They sell it at craft stores, Walmart, lots of different places, and it comes in all the fun colors. So if you're doing a holiday dipping, so you want orange or black or red, it's usually good to use those because then you don't have to deal with candy coloring. My favorite product to use is Candy Quick, and it comes in vanilla and chocolate. I think it melts the smoothest and it tastes the best. So that's what I'm using today, is the vanilla Candy Quick. So when you're ready to dip, a little tip that if you have an electric griddle like I'm using here, it makes it really a lot easier, because a lot of times when you're dipping chocolate, it'll harden before you have a chance to get everything all dipped. And the more times you have to heat it in the microwave to remelt it, the more chances it has to seize up, and you don't really want that. So what I do is I like to have my griddle. This is a Cuisinart griddler, and I love it because it folds up or opens. But you can use any electric griddle. Heat it to the lowest setting, which is about 200 degrees, and I like to cover it with a couple of kitchen towels, depending on how thick they are. I have a terry cloth and like a little thin one underneath, just so that it doesn't get too hot. You can melt your candy according to whatever the package directions say. I like to use Tupperware to melt my candy in. I find that glass gets too hot, and I find that those disposable Tupperware ones, the Ziploc and those brands, tend to be too flimsy and not sturdy enough. So I like to just use plain old-fashioned Tupperware because it's sturdy and it takes microwaving pretty well. So I have my candy ready. It's all melted. It's on its nice warm griddle, so it'll stay hot while we're dipping. What I do is I take my balls of truffle that I have from the refrigerator, and I just drop it in. Now you don't want to swirl it around because that'll make the little pieces drop off. So what I do is I take my spoon and I pour the chocolate over the truffle. And then I pick it up onto a fork like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap. I use the Bakerella tapping method. I don't tap the fork. I don't tap the fork on the bowl. I use my 2 fingers and I tap my hand on my other hand that's holding the fork to get the excess chocolate to drip off. And then I'll go like this, and then I'll keep doing it like this, and keep doing it like so. If you tap the fork too much, it can make the truffle fall off into the chocolate. So you want to tap your hand, not the fork. And then when I'm ready to put it on the cookie sheet, I like to use a toothpick because it makes it a lot easier to get off of the fork. And I just set it down onto the cookie sheet and slide the toothpick underneath and slide it off. And you can usually use the toothpick and kind of poke it a little bit to make it stand up straight, and the candy will fill back in. So let's try that again, and I wipe off on my towel. I wipe off if any of the cookie dough or any of the truffle mixture has gotten in between the fork. So we can do that again. So again, you drop the truffle in, spoon the candy over, and then tap your hand, swipe, tap, swipe, and then use the toothpick again to unload it from the fork. And then a lot of times I don't like the way they look because there's lots of different little chocolate marks or whatever. I'm not the perfect dipper. That's why I love sprinkles. You just cover them with sprinkles, and all the imperfections that you think are there are magically covered up, and sprinkles are fun and they make people smile. So that's how I dip truffles, and I hope that this has helped you learn how to dip truffles too. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.